Okay, I'm Greg, mechanic here at the Guild. This is a 1959 Ford Fairlane 500. It's in for oil leak and fuel leak, so we have to just go and diagnose it and find out what the problem is and see if we can repair it. This is a regular type job that comes in here. It's more or less, on a weekly basis we'll get something in. The older cars with the older seals and gaskets and things start to fail over the years, and it's a normal thing. We do everything from minor oil leaks to full rebuilds.
I'm Dave Grainger. I'm the president of the Guild of Automotive Restorers, a restoration company that's been in business for over 30 years. We have restored over 2,500 cars, trucks, and other vintage vehicles. If you're curious about what goes on behind the scenes of a large restoration shop, join us at the Guild's Classics.
Right now we're looking for drips off of the motor. That's motor oil. Drips off the power steering. Any kind of moisture anywhere. I'm going to check it up here and see where it's coming from and what it is. We have when you get into the older cars, you can see that somebody's made a gasket here and there for it. That's not cut out properly for it, but it still does the job. I have a little bit of a fuel leak on the fuel filter. Looks like it might be a little bit of antifreeze running down from the top there too. A little bit of oil from the oil drain pan. Oil running around a fair bit. A little bit of transmission fluid off of the transmission pan as well. So this one may not be just a cut and dry, easy repair, since we have to locate each leak. So as dry as everything looks up here, I think my original thoughts with the transmission lines at the front and maybe a little bit of the oil pan, an oil drain plug, that looks like where most of it's coming from, because everything is pretty dry up here. There's nothing, no major lines running down the block. Everything looks pretty decent. I really don't see a whole lot of sign up here, so I think it should be good if we start at the bottom. I can see actually drips and drops on the front cross member by the rad, so the transmission coolant line going into the bottom of the rad look like they're part of the problem. I would say probably most of it. Can't get a wrench on this. Let's see if it's just needs a little bit of snugging, a little bit of love. Oh, how about a lot of love? Okay, there's our transmission leak because the fitting is not tight going into the rad, so that's just have to be taken out, resealed, maybe get rid of the Teflon tape and put some sealer on it. Yeah, it's leaking all over there, so those aren't tight going into the rad. So there's our 90% of our leak.
Yeah, hi, my name's Ron, mechanic here at the Guild. Greg asked me to work on this car here. I got to get the oil pan off to replace the gasket. But I have a little bit of a clearance issue. I got to jack the engine up, which is a little bit of a trick on this old car, so that's my next step. Yeah, I jacked it up. I got a couple pieces of wood jammed in here, in between the motor mounts and the frame to hold it up, because once I jacked it up, this is going to be in the way for it to come forward. So hopefully Now I just have to take the oil pump pickup off. We have to take the oil pan off because the gasket's in between the oil pan. I'll show you, you'll be able to see it once I get it off. There's a cork gasket there. So we'll take it off and clean the gasket, put a new gasket in place. Yeah, well, there's a gasket in the front here. I'm going to do this gasket too. So all the front's got to come off the motor into a, yeah, a little bit of a major contract. The goal was to get this front cover off of here to replace the gasket on it, but so I had to take the water pump, I had to take the radiator out, fan blades, power steering pump, the generator, and I got to take the fuel pump off next, and then I can take that front cover off. But to get to, I had to take this all off of here to get to that one piece. So this is what we had the oil leak around here. See the gasket that just pretty well fell apart there? This is what I'm replacing, this gasket here. It's just falling apart, old. Well, the gasket seals the two. You got the metal block, the cast iron block, and a metal cover. The gasket goes in between to take out any irregular pattern. Like it's not smooth or 100%. If it was machined 100% perfect, you wouldn't need a gasket. It would fit right pretty well. But it's not, so you have to have a paper gasket in there to seal it. So today we started working on the Fairlane here. It had some pretty extensive oil leaks in the front of the engine. So I took the oil pan off along with the front timing cover, and we're going to replace the gaskets on the oil pan and timing cover along with the front crankshaft seal. And that should fix up the oil leaks. So the 1959 Ford Fairlane came into us for multiple oil leaks. I've replaced the oil pan gasket, front timing cover gasket, and crank seal. Now I have to make up some new transmission cooler lines because they're also leaking. And after that, we got to get it out for a road test to make sure everything's sealed up and okay.